rovers.
How great the robe of liberation, a formless field of merit, wrapping ourselves in Buddha's teachings, we free all living beings. And though I thus liberate countless beings, not a single being is liberated.
Incense chant.
Precepts, incense, liberation of used incense, cloud of lighted incense pouring into the Dharma realms. Offering to the highest teachers of the 10 directions, I respectfully bow to the altar of the incense cloud. Bodhisattva.
Wisdom dedication.
We dedicate this time and place to the 3 jewels.
To the Buddha, the ideal of enlightenment to which we aspire. To the Dharma, the path of the teaching that we follow. To the Sangha, the spiritual fellowship with one another that we enjoy. Here may no idle word be spoken. Here may no unquiet thoughts disturb our minds.
To the observance of the 5 precepts,
we dedicate this place.
To the practice of meditation,
we dedicate this place.
To the ripening of wisdom,
we dedicate this place.
To the joy of awakening,
we dedicate this place.
Though in the world outside there is strife,
here may there be peace.
Though in the world outside there is hate,
here may there be joy.
Here seated, here practicing,
may our minds become Buddha, may our thoughts become Dharma, may our speech together become Sangha, for the happiness of all beings, for the benefit of all beings, with body, speech, and mind, we dedicate this place. Chant of compassion. We surround all forms of life with infinite love and compassion. Especially do we send out compassionate thoughts to those in suffering and sorrow, to those in doubt and ignorance, to all who are striving to attain truth, and to those whose feet stand close to the great change called death, we send forth all wisdom, mercy, and love. May the infinite light of wisdom and compassion so shine within us that the errors and vanities of self may be dispelled. So shall we understand the changing nature of existence and awaken into spiritual peace. The refuges.
I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Buddha.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Dharma.
I take refuge in the Sangha.
I take refuge in the Sangha. The 5 precepts.
I take up the practice of not harming living beings.
I take up the practice of not harming living beings.
I will not take what is not offered.
I will not take what is not offered.
I will not misuse sexuality or sensuality.
I will not misuse sexuality or sensuality.
I will practice gentle, truthful speech.
I will practice gentle, truthful speech.
I will not deal in nor misuse intoxicants.
I will not deal in nor misuse intoxicants. The Buddha Sarangamagata. True nature is free from all phenomena, which are illusions by causes created. Phenomena neither rise nor fall, but all phenomena are flowers in the sky. The unreal reveals the real, but both are but illusions, since there is nothing real nor unreal. How can there be a subject and an object? For between the two there is no true nature, like the point where two rush bundles meet when set upright, tying and untying from the same cause arise, while the same thing and the worldly are objects are undone, one vanishes as well. Choose a sense organ that is all penetrating to enter the holy stream and attain Bodhi. Old habits flow like torrents in a subtle consciousness, since the real yet unreal can create confusion. I have refrained from revealing it to you. If mind be set on searching for the mind, that which at heart is not illusion becomes illusory. If you stop all grasping, then there is nothing real. If what is not illusion ceases to arise, where can illusion be? This is the profound lotus Dharma, the precious glory of the royal gem, the samadhi of seeing all things as illusion, which in a finger's snap leads to the state beyond all study, the unsurpassed doctrine was followed by all Bhagavats in all directions on the one path that to Nirvana leads.
So last week, this past week, we got our shed delivered. And yesterday I was doing some organizing and getting ready to move some of the things from our smaller utility shed and the entire smaller utility shed itself over to where the new large shed is in the yard. And I decided to use like the wheelbarrow to taxi things from the small shed up to the large shed, probably 80 feet apart. That might be exaggerated, but feels like 80 feet apart. And something I noticed while I was doing that is I felt excited. I felt excited to be able to clean out that smaller shed. There's some damage to it from being too full. And just being able to finish the task, set things up the way that would be nice and useful for us. And something that came along with that thought was, I want to get it done today. And I've noticed a pattern. And it's a pattern that I think is mostly universal. I think we all can relate to the excitement or having a vision of a space or a task, something you care about, and then wanting to jump to the end, wanting to have it done, pushing through, having the endurance and perseverance and all of these attributes that are deemed as positive. Get it done, be productive. And I noticed that I'm doing that a lot with a lot of different things. I mean, you have inspiration to change something, to do something, and you want to tackle it, and you want to get it done. And I've noticed, looking at this closer, I've noticed two things. One, that intense desire to get it done right now can come from wanting to move on to the next thing. It can come from the let me get this out of the way so that I can move on. I can do other things. The other thing it can come from I just had a date. But the motivation behind it, like it reveals that motivation. It reveals that you are deciding to do something out of a desire to see an outcome. And at that point, it almost feels like by any means necessary. I'm going to work until I don't have any more daylight. I need to make progress on this. And it's like it blows up these things into emergency situations almost. When you get used to telling yourself this has to get done, then it puts your brain into this is the highest priority, even though it might not be. Get moving the things from the small shed to the big shed moving the small shed, those aren't life or death tasks. But the desire to see it done can drive us to do it unskillfully. And even more so, I mean, when I was out there, there's mold in that small shed. We have some pieces of trim left over from when we installed the trim inside the house, and like there's one piece of it that's just covered in mold. And so it might not be safe to continue. And these things, these considerations, the care taken on how it's done kind of gets thrown out the window when you're only thinking about this end goal of how satisfying it would be to be able to have this done today. And it also causes impatience, because now anything that gets in your way feels like it feels like a massive inconvenience. Like, oh, now I have to take care of myself, I have to take care of others. And now it's like, I just wanted to stay focused on what I'm doing. And so in that way, it also makes us rigid. It makes us intolerant. And I think that, at least for me, a really good indicator of if I'm thinking that way is when I get phone calls. If I get a phone call and it's annoying and it's like, oh, who's calling me now? Then that's an indicator that I'm not practicing, I'm misusing whatever I'm working with. And so I think this is, a revealer of how the practice can help us stay resilient, be resilient. Because if we're doing things properly, according to the practice, these things that once were inconveniences are now just the same as whatever you were doing before. Now, answering the phone is just as important, just the same as doing the dishes, just the same as moving stuff out of the shed, just the same as reading or whatever you do. And I've also noticed that, thinking in this way helps with physical frustrations. I'm out of shape. I struggle with health. And when I want to do something, I can see how I'm going to do it in my head. And then when I actually go to do it and I encounter these physical struggles, like today, in the big shed, I put up a little piece of paracord to hang our gloves on. And the process of we have these little cup hooks. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to put a couple of cup hooks and run the paracord between the cup hooks. The first cup hook, I could just twist it in with my fingers because, that part of the wood was less dense. So I could do it pretty easily. And then the second cup hook, there was more grain, and so it was tougher. And I struggled. And it's almost like a expectation. I should be able to do this. I shouldn't need to go get tools. This is more than I thought it was going to be. And now I'm frustrated because now I have to go find the drill. Now I have to go figure out, if I can use the drill to screw in the cup hook, or if I have to get a drill bit. And all of these extra steps just feel like so much more than you thought it was going to be. And now you just don't want to do it anymore, or you're disappointed. And so if we slow down our actions, slow down our thought process, we can see that whole conversation comes from an expectation that things should be a certain way. Things should be easy. Oh, that's so easy. I'm just going to go out and knock that out in 10 minutes. And while thoughts like that have their place, they have their place in determining what our capacity is, within our skillfulness. We have to be able to measure, do I have the skill? Do I have the time? Do I have the resources to do this? We have to also remember that those sort of thoughts have to be allowed to dissipate. We can't hold on to them as we're going. We can't continue the thought of, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be easy. It's going to be, it's going to allow our gloves to dry out, between uses, and just 1, 2, 3, it's going to be done. Because that takes away our ability to be resilient. And so I think that today I saw an improvement in myself when I was challenged with, this is more than I thought it was going to be. I mean, it's like each moment is its own moment. And just because now it's more than I thought it was going to be doesn't mean that I have to go overextend myself and figure out how to get this done right now. I mean, we have the opportunity to reassess and change our minds so that we don't do things that will create or contribute to unproductive thought patterns. And I do know too that several years ago, that sort of thing would have made me angry. The frustration of not being able to get it done the way I thought it was going to get done would have made me angry. Angry because I thought that I needed force to push through. And it's kind of like those finger traps, the more you pull apart, the more you're stuck. So it is a little counterintuitive, I think, to most people, to slow down instead of speed up. To think about productivity as totally different than what we normally think of, what society thinks is productive. I mean, productivity in the practice is not giving energy to these thoughts that will end up encouraging a pattern that we don't want, encouraging the suffering, the self-inflicted harm of the unskillfulness. And it is it's an equal energy. The energy that it takes to cease a thought and the energy it takes to continue a thought are not that different. And the impacts that each one of those actions have are the same. Every time you let a thought continue, it will encourage that thought to come back. And every time you don't let a thought continue, it will reduce the chances of that thought occurring again. So slowing down enough to be able to make the choice. I mean, it really is the freedom of choosing the productivity as defined by the practice, choosing the path of resiliency over the desire to get things done. And it feels counterproductive. It feels, can feel very alien to switch to this way of thinking. But every thought counts, every thought matters. What you do with it matters. And that is my Dharma Talk for today.
Closing Gata. Let me respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes swiftly and opportunity is lost. Each of us should strive to awaken. Awaken, take heed, do not squander your life. Offering of merit. May the merit of this penetrate into each thing in all places, so that we and every sentient being together can realize the Buddha's way. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, wisdom beyond wisdom, experience supreme Bodhi.
All right.